The first thing you're going to want to do is clean your mold very well. Dirty molds don't work. So you're going to clean it, make sure there's no dust particles. If you can't get it all, use some tape and voila, you won't have any messes at all. Next, we're going to pick out our paint colors. I like to use Mica Paints for these. They're sparkly and beautiful. I like to kind of go with a rainbow effect, a little bit of ombre. So let's get started. First thing I'm going to use is some pearl white for the lotus flower. We're going to use the softest, fluffiest bristle brush we have so it's not to scratch up the mold. We're going to apply it into the mold. Make sure to get all the creases so that it shows up very nicely. Next, I'm going to use a little bit of this teal or turquoise, but you can use any colors that you want. I'm going to apply this next into the other sides of the flower mold with the same soft bristle brush. Next, I'm going to start with some of my pinks. Again, you can choose any colors you want. I like to play around, have some fun, use lots and lots of different colors. I didn't find a color I loved, so I kind of combined this pink with the Mica white to create a softer color than it was before. But I'm a little bit picky. I'm going to test it out here on my wax paper so that I can see what it's going to look like. And I think I really like that. So we're going to go with it. I'm going to use this for the body scales, kind of play around a little bit. We're going to speed this up since you don't want to watch me paint all day long. Next, I'm going to work with my purples. This is a really pretty lavender. I'm going to make sure to get in all those creases. Really nice. This is going to be a little bit of a darker purple. So again, it kind of complements the ombre effect that we're using for this one. But you can go more realistic. You can use blues. I've even used blacks on this one a few times. Go whatever your heart desires. Now my favorite part is this chameleon or color changing. I'm going to paint it down here on the bottom scales and it's going to give it a really, really cool kind of holographic effect when the mold is finished. This is after I've cleaned it out really nicely, blown off all the extra mica. You're going to stir your 2-part epoxy resin. It says 3 minutes, but I like to stir for about 8 and then let it sit for 5. You're going to pour it into the mold about 3/4. Don't fill it all the way because we're going to do a backing on this. Let it sit for 24 hours. And now we're back. Now I'm going to use some more of my favorite color change along with some alcohol ink because the color change mica alone doesn't really give me the pigment I'm looking for. We're going to mix probably 1 to 2 scoops of this color changing into our 2-part epoxy resin. And then 1 to 2 drops of the alcohol ink or paint colorant. You don't need a lot, but do whatever you like. Art is fun. So we stir, stir, stir till we get the desired color we like. Gives it a really nice sheen. I love playing with colors and effects and like to try something different all the time. So now we're going to fill our mold all the way. Make sure you don't leave any unfilled or else this is a very thin mold and it tends to crack or fracture very easily if it's not filled completely. I'm going to take my little silicone tool here and kind of push the mold into the mold a little bit in the corners where it didn't fill. Make sure that epoxy gets everywhere, like I said. Otherwise, these little tails will crack off and you'll have weird spots on it. So just gently push it around. Make sure it gets into every crevices. Then you can use the tiny tip to get into the really small parts. All right. And now we wait another 24 hours. Time for my favorite part, unmolding. As you see, it all has kind of an iridescent, color-changing glow, and that's because of the back of it. And I absolutely love this guy. What do you guys think? What color should we use next? Like and subscribe, and let me know what you think.